Hi, today I'm talking about asthma, how my asthma, which was chronically bad, has dramatically reduced. Hi, my name's Catherine, and today I'm going to be talking to you about, well, first of all, I'm going to tell you what sort of state I was in physically with my asthma, what I have been doing that has improved it, and where I am now. Now, I've been thinking of making this video for a little while, but I wanted to give it time. I wanted to make sure that actually the fact that my breathing has got so much better wasn't just a fluke, like a one-off. I didn't want to post a video and then a few weeks later struggling again. So I've given it time, and I just want to share this with you because if you are an asthma sufferer, you will know how debilitating it can be. Okay, so I will talk to you a little bit about my asthma. So I would say for the last 25 years, my asthma has been chronically bad, really, really bad. And I've been in and out of hospital all the time. The minute I got a virus, the minute I felt a sore throat, I would panic because I'd think, oh no, I'm going to end up going into hospital again because my lungs couldn't cope. And my daughter's 16 now, but when she was younger and at primary school, I struggled just to walk her to school. And I felt so ashamed and embarrassed, and I would try to cover it up, but I would literally have to stop and breathe and stop and get my breath back because my asthma was so bad. I have been on steroids, oral steroids. I never say the name right, but if you take them, you know, predicinal. I always call them predicinal, but they're not called that. I know they're not called that. And I've had to deal with like weight gain. I would puff up, and I've been on steroid tablets for months at a time. Anyway, it really gets you down because not only are you struggling to breathe just to do day-to-day things, but it takes away your confidence, and it just makes you feel like a shadow of your former self. I would find even just carrying shopping bags just from the car to the front door, just the thing of carrying the bag, by the time I got to the front door, I couldn't breathe, and absolutely couldn't go up an incline. Just couldn't even think about it. And sometimes also at home, I have two sets of stairs, but just climbing up the stairs, I would be out of breath when I got to the top. Now, this was really hard actually for me, and especially when you're a parent, you want to be the parent that sort of runs around with their child and is fit and doing lots of things, and I couldn't do that because my asthma was so bad. And also the lack of oxygen that I was taking in, because my oxygen levels have always been very low, was also making me really tired. So I take steroid inhalers, and I take very strong steroid inhalers, 2 different types. So yeah, I just guess I figured that this was just one of those things that I had to manage, and I felt that, you know, we all have crosses to bear, and that was mine. But something has changed, because I can now walk uphill. I can walk, I can carry bags without getting out of breath. I can take a deep breath and I can feel my breath going all the way down, whereas before my breath was always just here. Now I can take a deep breath and it goes all the way down. My doggy Arnold, he's got like a rival. There's a neighbouring dog and they are rivals. They can't bear each other. And every now and then, one of them will accidentally slip their lead and they will come in contact with each other. And it's really stressful. And I'm picking up Arnold. And when we've managed to separate both dogs, I'm like just completely can't breathe. I'm on the floor, I can't get up. The stress of it, I can't breathe at all. Now the other day, this very thing happened. And I went and I grabbed Arnold. And whereas normally I would be struggling, I just held him and I walked away. And I was fine. And I thought, my gosh, what a difference. So, okay, let's get down to why this has happened. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying you mustn't take your inhalers or do anything like that. I'm still taking my inhalers. I would never say that. But all I want to do is share what has improved my breathing, yeah? And hope that there might be someone else out there who can also improve their breathing the way that I have, because it just feels great, yeah? So what are we, day 115 or 16 on YouTube of me doing YouTube? So when I first started the channel, initially it wasn't about mental health or psychology, but it morphed into that. And as I went along on the channel and started to study, so I started to learn about Carl Jung. I listened to podcasts by Michael Singer. He wrote the book, The Untethered Soul, and he talks about thoughts and how we are not our thoughts. I also listened to the spiritual leader Eckhart Tolle, German chap, who talks about being in the present, being in the now. And over this time, my life has transformed, because up until that point, I was really, really depressed. I felt in despair. I'd been a carer for my mum who has Alzheimer's. She'd lived with me, and I'd been through lots of major life changes, big relationship breakups, redundancy, oh, you name it. My father died. So many things had been happening in my life that were like major occurrences. And then I was facing, now at 51, now looking at what do I do now to earn money? So I started this YouTube channel, and I was just thinking that I would just try and help people, because I knew what it felt like to feel pain and to feel isolated and on your own. And I thought that by starting this channel, it would just give other people who maybe felt the same a feeling of solidarity, someone else who knows what they're going through. But as I started to read Eckhart Tolle about learning to be living in the present, not be constantly worrying about what's ahead of us, the constant anxieties of what's happening next and what might happen next and what might not happen, and catastrophizing, and not living in the past of regrets and if only this had happened and if only that had happened. I started to really take seriously that idea of living in the present, combined with also listening to podcasts about with Michael Singer, and also my knowledge about thoughts that I had from helping a family member with OCD, understanding that we are not our thoughts. So I am not sadness, I am not depression, I am someone who is experiencing this. And also with some knowledge of previous therapy I had, I started to use the thought processes. So I would process feelings that I didn't like, emotions that were upsetting to me. I would allow them to come in and I would process them. And again, I was learning to become an observer of my thoughts. And by becoming an observer of my thoughts, my mind started to calm down. I suddenly wasn't constantly just having racing thoughts darting all over the place. And then Carl Jung. I was also studying Carl Jung and looking about how we can become whole. And we do that by facing our shadow side. We look at what triggers us, the things that people say that upset us, and we realize that actually those triggers are alerting us to a part of ourselves that we need to work on. So I was realizing that I was a people pleaser. I spent my whole life catering for other people's needs. And really, I was suffocating myself just to please others. And those things combined, my nervous system, I had always been on high alert, always scanning for potential problems. And if anyone rang me, because I'm not very good on my phone, but the minute the phone rang, I would just go into a state of panic. And I would be like a startled horse. And I also came to understand that you often hear about the fight or flight. Well, I was in freeze mode. And in a very short amount of time, by spending a lot of time looking inward and really looking at where I was and what I was doing, my nervous system started to calm down dramatically. So I would like to invite you to just scroll down my page, have a look at some of the videos that might that you think you might resonate with you. Have a look at how your thoughts are lying to you, and just various things like that, the Carl Jung, and how to face your shadow side, because it has just been transformative for me. Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And I had felt that asthma was just my fate. But actually, I'm realizing that asthma, okay, I'm not saying I'm cured of asthma, but the seriousness of the state I was in, actually, I think has got a lot to do with the state that my nervous system was in. And since calming my nervous system, I am calming my breathing. I mean, also, I haven't had a migraine in a month, but it's only been a month. So I'm not gonna I don't know yet. I need a bit more time to work out if the migraines also have been something that's been helped by me learning to calm my nervous system down. But I just wanted to share that today because asthma's really had a detrimental effect on my life and really held me back in so many areas and made me feel just permanently exhausted. And actually, I'm just beginning to feel so much better. And like I said, I'm not saying it's a cure. It has just dramatically changed very recently for me. Okay, if you found this video helpful, please do comment, like, subscribe. I would love to hear from you. I always love to hear your comments and your viewpoints, even if they're different to mine. I welcome that. So yeah, and do subscribe, come and become a part of our family. And yeah, we're just learning to protect that peace within so we can send all our love out. Have a wonderful day. Bye.